Chapter 10. Dani sat at her small kitchen table, watching Mark eat his dinner. She'd already finished hers but enjoyed sitting with him while he ate. Homemade chicken strips were easy to get him to eat, and she'd made a deal with him. He'd eat the asparagus if there was macaroni and cheese as well. He was keeping his word too. The asparagus had been the first thing to disappear off his plate. She wasn't sure if it was because he liked it and wasn't telling her so he could make deals to get stuff she normally didn't give him, or if he was getting it over with so he could get to the parts he liked. It didn't really matter. If he ate his vegetables, she was happy to let him have mac and cheese and a few other less than nutritious side dishes on occasion. "Did you have fun today at the park?" she asked. "Yep," he said between bites. "Charlie introduced me to the guys. We had fun." "I'm glad you made friends. Do you think you might like it up here? I know you miss your friends in Flagstaff, but these could be good friends too." "Maybe." He was quiet a minute. "Who was that guy at the park? And why were you crying?" "That guy is an old friend of Mom's from when she lived here a long time ago." She ignored the part about crying, hoping he'd forget about it. "Did he make you cry?" Her son looked up at her with surprisingly adult eyes. "No, baby. He didn't. I told him about Grandpa. That made me sad, and that's why I was crying." "Oh." He went back to eating. "That makes me sad when I think about it too." Mark took several more bites. "Your old friend? How well do you know him?" "I used to know him really well, but it's been a long time, so not so well anymore." "Why?" "Because you need someone. I have you." Mark gave her the same "you're not fooling me" look that she had given him so often. "He seemed to really like you, and you don't cry in front of anyone, not even me." Dani knew this was one of the downsides of having what she considered an exceptionally smart kid. He caught on to things well above what kids his age normally would. She wasn't sure if it was because he was an only child and spent so much time with her or what. Mark had always gotten good grades, but most kids did through the early grades. She realized if nothing else, his bringing it up gave her a chance to talk to him about Zach. "What if I do like him and want to spend more time with him? How would you feel about that?" "He seemed nice," Mark said. "He knows what kids like." He moved from his chicken strips to the mac and cheese. "You mean the Legos?" Mark nodded and kept eating. "And friends?" Charlie was nice too. "I have to work tomorrow morning, so I'm going to drop you off with Aunt Sarah while I work, but what do you want to do when I get off?" "Maybe watch a movie? Can we have popcorn and milk duds?" "A movie is doable. I'll have to see about the popcorn and candy." She wasn't sure she had popcorn or if she would be able to pick any up. The caramel candy was one of Mark's favorites, but she didn't let him have it too often. "What if I invite Zach to come watch it with us? Would you be okay with that?" "Sure, what are we gonna watch?" "I don't know. I will have to see what I can find." "What do you want to watch?" "Monsters." "Monsters? Is that a movie?" Dani didn't watch much TV and she didn't see many previews, so she wasn't sure if he was asking for a specific movie or the type he was wanting to see. Mark shook his head. "You said you didn't know what you could find. So just a monster movie if you can find one." I'll see what I can do." Mark finished eating, rinsed and loaded his dish as she'd taught him, and then he got out his tablet for the 30 minutes a night he was allowed while Dani cleaned up the kitchen and started the dishwasher. Finished with what she had to get done tonight, she fell into a chair in the living room and checked the clock. "How much longer do you have?" Mark checked the clock, shut off the tablet, and put it on the table beside the couch. Time's up. How about a shower? Mark wrinkled his nose. Do I have to? I'd appreciate it. Towels are in the cabinet outside the bathroom. She watched as the half-size reminder of her teenage love made his way to his bedroom to get clean clothes. Once he was in the bathroom, she pulled out her phone. Unsure exactly what to say, Dani sat staring at the blank screen for several seconds. Screw it, she thought, and turned on the screen, opening the text app. You busy tomorrow night? She sent to Zach. She was glad she'd been able to get his number from Sarah. She hadn't asked where Sarah had gotten it. And she was even more thankful Zach hadn't asked. Her phone chirped and she jumped, not expecting a response so quickly. Zach, no plans, why? Dani, Mark and I are going to have a movie night, want to come? Zach, sounds great, can I bring anything? Dani, got any monster movies appropriate for a 9-yo? Zach, I'm sure I do. Want me to bring one? Dani, please, that would be great. Zach, what time? Dani, I get off at 4, so how about 5? Zach, can do. I'll need your address. She sent him her address, and wondered what she should do for dinner the next day, for the three of them. She knew she'd be tired after work, but she didn't want Zach to think she fed their son a bunch of junk. This was something she hadn't anticipated when she'd offered to invite him. Her phone chirped. She frowned and checked the message, surprised to find another from Zach. Zach, I'm off all day, how about I bring dinner? Dani, that would be great. Zach, do you and Mark like lasagna? Dani, we do. Lasagna sounds great. She waited a few minutes, unsure if there would be another message, but she set the phone aside when she heard the shower shut off. Mark would only be up for a little while longer, and she could worry and wonder about Zach after their son, she reminded herself, was in bed. She wasn't going to waste time with her favorite boy. Especially tonight. She'd missed him over the last couple weeks while he'd been at her mom's. A moment later, Mark padded into the room barefoot, wearing only a pair of pajama pants. His hair was wet and spiky. Can I have a cookie? He asked. Dani considered it a moment. I guess. 1. Mark disappeared into the kitchen. Want one? I'm good. Mark appeared a moment later, a chocolate sandwich cookie half-eaten in his hand. He glanced at the couch, then came and curled up on the arm of the chair where Dani sat. This was part of what Dani loved about being a parent. Mark was a snuggly boy and liked his mom. What do you think of your room? Dani asked as he popped the last of the cookie into his mouth. She had to wait for him to answer because she had a strict rule about talking with your mouth full, and he knew it. It's nice. You know it's not gonna stay that way, right? He shrugged. I just don't know where anything is. I figured. She smiled and wondered how long it would take him to have his room the way he liked it. It wouldn't be a total mess, but not the neatly organized space she'd created either. She spent the last few minutes before his bedtime talking to him, and just enjoying their time together before she sent him to bed. Once Mark was in bed, she picked up the front room, took a shower, and got things ready for the next day. It would be an early day, getting herself and Mark ready to leave, and dropping Mark off before she could go in. Still, she loved her job and it was worth it.